So let's talk about finding the deal. Now, when you find the deal, there are several different steps here. You're going to do a market analysis. The first thing you're going to do, you're going to talk about where do I want to find this deal? You're going to look at the comps. Those are the different steps that you're going to take when you're finding your deal. So let's talk about market analysis. Now, market analysis may seem a little scary to some people, but it's simply just gathering data on different properties within the area that you've identified. So some of the things that you're going to look at on the market analysis, and you're going to find these things on the MLS, are home ownership rates in that area. In that particular sub-market, what are the home ownership rates? Is it 50% or 50% of the houses for sale, or all the houses leased, or all the houses owned by someone? So you want to look at that data, and you can look at that on the MLS. You also want to look at median household income. For our home that we flipped, the home ownership was very high. There were only 2 houses on the market at the time within the 1.5 mile to 1 mile radius that we're going to talk about in the comps. And the median household income, they were blue collar workers. And what was extraordinary about this market was that it was a small community, and a lot of people knew each other's families. They had grown up in the area. In fact, our buyers were pre-approved. They had grown up in the area. They wanted their kids to go to the same schools they went to, in the same school district. They wanted to live in the same neighborhood that they grew up in. And it was just the perfect storm, okay? It was not even a storm. It was the greatest victory for us, because we had pre-approved buyers before we even finished doing the rehab on this flip. So that was a great story in and of itself. We want to talk about home values. We knew going in that the home values were pretty consistent in this area at 98.5 all the way up to like 110. But that comp that was selling like at 110 had a big work area in the back. It was like a barn that was built in the back for a business. So that increased the price of that house. That wasn't a true comp for us. So we knew that there was another house literally on the same street that had sold for the $98,500 and had sold within 30 to 60 days. So you want to look at the average sales price and also the amount of time on the market. We knew that those houses were selling 30 to 60 days. You also want to look at home remodel costs. We also saw that the house that had literally been sold right up the street didn't even have light switch covers on it. So we knew our house was better than that one because of several different reasons, but that was like, this house doesn't have light switch covers and it's sold at 98.5. So we knew that our house would at least sell for that or more. Now, the next kind of semi-step in between market analysis and you actually finding your deal is you need to come to terms with a few things on what is the most you're willing to pay and what is the least you're willing to pay for a house. So just look at your budget, look at your credit cards, look at the line of credit, whatever financing you're using, you need to kind of have in your mind how much is the most or the least you're willing to pay for the house. And remember, just because the house is really dirt cheap, sometimes it's a lot of rehab that goes into those houses. So you really want to know, are you just putting lipstick on a pig, or meaning lipstick on a pig like sheetrock, carpet, tile, those sorts of cosmetic things, or are you really having to go and do structural work? Pulling permits can become expensive, and that's what we had to do on this house. It's a little bit of structural work because they had a hole in the roof. So you just want to kind of come to terms in your mind with where you're going financially with this house and how can you best ensure that you are going to make a profit at the end of the day. So the second step we want to talk about is finding the deal. How do I find the deal? Where do I look? So some of as seasoned investors, I would say that we have helped other investors and we have a multitude of ways that we have found our properties. So I think out of this group, maybe 1 or 2 of the ways we haven't used, but all the other ones we have used. And I wake up daily, I look at the MLS. That's my favorite thing to do. But don't skip over investor-friendly realtors because they do exist. This is all about relationship building. Stay in contact with those investor-friendly realtors because they know properties before they even hit the market. So you can actually just buy directly from the seller, pay the 3% instead of paying the seller paying 6%, and they'll probably choose you. You know, so be the early bird to get on top of your game and know which properties are coming to the market, because the early bird gets the worm. And if the seller is only paying 3% and you're representing yourself in the deal, hey, they're probably going to sell to you first. So those are some of the things that I do in order to cut out the middleman and ensure that I am the winner at the end of the day on a property that I really, really want. And I've worked the numbers on and it works out in my favor. You can drive for deals. You can look at HARrealtor.com, Redfin, or you can drive for deals. So you can drive around neighborhoods looking for deals. I do it all the time. My husband does it all the time. So those are different ways. We've done direct mailings as well. You can actually create a Google website. We haven't done that, but you can create a Google website and say, hey, enter your email, enter your email address, enter your address, and we'll spit out an offer to you and do some SEO, and hey, you probably will get some deals. Facebook groups are another great way that I've seen recently that people are selling homes, because again, it cuts out maybe 3% or might cut out 6%. You can just deal directly with the seller and get the deal done with the little contract that you draft up yourself. Wholesalers. I'm on a bunch of different email lists for wholesalers, and they send out deals daily. So there's never a question of if I'm going to get a deal, because the wholesalers are sending out those deals and I'm seeing those deals and I'm working the numbers to see if they work in my favor. If they don't, I'm moving on. So those are the different ways that you can actually find the deals.